Okay, so I would like to call on the Secretary of the Education Committee of the Association in person of Dr. Alfa Muhammad to give us the brief citation of our today's presenter, Dr. Malami Bello. Dr. Alfa Muhammad.
Mujitaba, for granting me this opportunity to read the citation of one of my teachers back then in medical school at Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital as a resident. It's a very rare opportunity. Thank you very much. Good morning, all. My name is Dr. Alfa Mohammed, and I am going to read the citation of the presenter, who is Dr. Malami Muhammad Bello. Dr. Malami Muhammad Bello was born and he hails from Tambuwal local government area of Sokoto State. He attended Buhari Model Primary School at Tambuwal town, Tambuwal local government area of Sokoto State, where he later proceeded to Nagarta College for his junior school leaving certificate, and subsequently attended Federal Science College, Ogoja, in Cross River State, Nigeria, where he obtained his senior secondary school leaving certificate. He then proceeded to Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, where he obtained his MBBS, and later on at the same Usman Danfodio University obtained his master's in public health. Dr. Malami Muhammad Bello obtained his fellowship of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria in 2022. His other additional qualifications include a training certificate in advanced TB research training course at the University of Washington, the United States of America, amongst others. Dr. Malami is currently a senior lecturer at Iconic Open University, a visiting lecturer at the Northwestern University, Sokoto, and a consultant public health physician with the Usman Danfodio University Teaching Hospital. He is currently married with 4 kids. It's a rare honor to present one of my teachers in person of Dr. Malami Muhammad Bello. You are welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Alfa Muhammad. You are welcome. And thank you, everyone, also for the audience. I want to apologize for starting this late, since we scheduled it to be started by 10, but due to some issues beyond my ability, we are going to start it now by 11, after 11. And because, you know, it is the first day is going to be on the introduction of and the basic things of research. So in this week, we are going to look at the introduction to research and as research designs, then the proposal writing, the steps in writing a proposal. So this part will follow the following outline. We're going to look at the purpose of research, characteristics, types, general approaches to research, qualities of good research, ethical research, ethics in research, and then definition of some useful terms that you must know, that we must know before in any research. So from a research word, from a French word, chercher, meaning to seek or to search. That means the research is from the French word, which means to research or to seek or to search. It is an attempt to solve or gain a solution to a problem. So research refers to a thorough systematic investigation into nature and society to add value to the existing knowledge and or to generate new knowledge. So we are conducting a research in order to add value to the existing knowledge or to generate a new knowledge. This one is very important because in almost all the examinations that contains research, if the examination involve conducting a research, one of the questions that they ask you, why are you doing this? Why have you done this research? So the main thing is to do what is to generate a new knowledge or to add value to the existing knowledge. That is the main purpose of conducting almost all the researches. So it is also a systematic process of collecting and analyzing information in order to increase our understanding of the world in general and of the phenomenon under study in particular. So let's look at some purpose of research.
Hello, sir, your screen is not shared. Can you share the screen?
Okay, it's not shared, huh?
Yes, sir.
I thought it is shared. Sorry, let me share it.
Slideshow mode.
Okay. Can we see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now the purpose of research include to correct participants, correct perceptions. Maybe there are some perceptions that that have not been that were not identified, that no evidences were identified for them. They are just perceptions. You can now, if you have any perception that you want to correct or you want to have evidence on, you can just conduct a research for that in order to finalize on the perception that you are thinking. Then to develop and evaluate concepts, practices, and theories. To gather information on a certain phenomenon that are lacking in knowledge, to obtain knowledge for practical purposes, for finding answers to questions or solutions to problems, to provide hard facts that serve as basis for planning, decision-making, project implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. And also to discover and interpret new facts, to test theories in order to revise accepted theories or laws in the light of new facts, and to formulate new theories. So what are the characteristics of research? The research involves gathering of new data from new sources or first-hand information. There are some researches that need information from new sources, and other researchers also need information from old sources. These are secondary research. Those that need information from new sources are called primary researchers, while those that use secondary data or secondary information, they are called secondary research. So some researches involve gathering information either from new data or new information and other ones is from the second-hand information. So then directed towards the solution of a problem. So any research that will be conducted should have a problem that it needs to solve. You can't conduct any research without citing a problem that you want to address. That is why in your proposal, you need to have a problem. And for you to find a problem, you have to be observant. You have to observe the situation in the environment that you want to conduct that research. You observe it and find a problem. Look at what is this, why is this happening? Why is this coming like this? So then you identify a problem. Once you identify a problem, then you now conduct a research in order to address such a problem. So if you don't have any problem, you can't conduct research, because researches are conducted to solve problems. So, and also in coming up with a research topic, you need to, even if you have a problem, you need to also find out whether this problem has not been solved before. If the problem has been solved in that community before, then it is no longer a problem in that area. But a problem in another area that has been addressed there can be a problem in a new area where it has not been addressed before. So one of the characteristics of the research, it is directed towards solving a problem. Then it is characterized by carefully designing procedures, applying rigorous analysis. So a research must follow a procedure, must follow a certain procedure, because if you didn't follow certain procedure, these procedures must be followed for you to meet what you want to meet. If you didn't follow the procedure very well, or as standard, then whatever you get, whatever you conclude may not be the exact solution of the problem you are looking for. So that is why it is characterized by designing or by following some procedures rigorously up to the analysis and interpretation level. Then research emphasizes the development of generalization, principles, hypotheses, and theories that may be helpful in predicting future occurrences. So we are also conducting researches in order to find out, to generalize, to make a generalizability of the information we have gathered to other places, to also make a principles, provide principles, to have a theory, because from the analysis result that we can develop theories, we can develop principles, we can develop hypotheses and theories. So without conducting a very good research, all these things cannot be generalized or cannot be developed. So all these theories that we are seeing, so theory, so principles, hypotheses, they are all generated from a research that were conducted. So we conduct research in order to develop all these processes. Then it requires expertise. If you are not expert in the research, you cannot, or you don't have the knowledge of research, you cannot conduct any research, because researches, they are the final thing at the, of evidences. If you have a research on something, an evidence, it can provide evidence on almost everything, because all these things that were developed, all the theories, all the principles, they were from the researches. So if such researches were not done by experts, does not that, and were not followed through certain standards and steps, procedures, then they will not be used in order to develop such theories and principles. Then research demands accurate observation and description of what is being studied. So I think let's continue. There are some types of research, two basic types of research. We have pure research or basic research, and we have applied or practical research. The basic research is a scientific investigation that involves the pursuit of knowledge for knowledge's sake. This one is just, you just want to conduct a research for knowledge's sake. That is basic research. The purpose is to generate and refine theories, build constructs. The findings may not be directly useful in practice. So these are basic research, those that are just used in order to develop some theories, to develop some principles, to develop some basic things that will add to knowledge, only to knowledge, but not to be used for practice. These are called basic research. Then applied research, in applied research, knowledge is not the sake, but seeking new applications of scientific knowledge to the situation of a problem. So in the applied research, you want to know, you want to have the knowledge of how some scientific problems or situational problems are being done or are being conducted. You just find the knowledge and use that knowledge to put it into practice. That is applied research. The main purpose of this applied research is to solve problems. So almost all our researches that we are conducting for our Part 2 examinations and other form of examination, most of them are applied research. We are conducting them in order to solve the problems, certain problems that we have seen or we have cited. So then we can also have another form of classification of research, which are quantitative and qualitative. We can have quantitative research, qualitative research, and mixed method research. So this quantitative research is a research type of research that you use questionnaire. You use certain questionnaire to bring it out, to ask, like inductive from fact to theory. Then it explores factors that could explain why a given event occur. You can do almost all the researches here that we are conducting, most of them are quantitative researches that we can apply design, research design to conduct, like cross-sectional design, like case control design, like cross-sectional cohort study, experimental study. They are all quantitative research. You want to find out something from the participants. So you may be using certain research instruments like proforma, like questionnaire, and other things in order to find out what is the problem is. Then qualitative research. In qualitative research is from the theory to the fact. You use theory to find out the facts. So for example, you want to conduct an interview, an in-depth interview where you have a meeting with some people, ask them, they explain themselves, everything they explain, like focus group discussion. You want to have a focus group discussion. So that one, you are not the one that is generating the answer, the possible answers that you can have. For example, you can just ask somebody, why are you doing this? He will be explaining himself without you telling him or giving him the options. He is the one that will explain. So from his explanation, you will now generate the facts. That's why they are saying it is from theory to the fact. So from the explanation the people are making about this, these are just open questions. You can just ask, why are you not doing these things? They will start explaining from any angle, from every angle. So in that case, from their explanation, you will be able to generate the facts, the why that you are asking. But them, they are just explaining what they know. So this type of researches are called qualitative research. Then we have mixed method research. So in mixed method research is the combination of both quantitative and qualitative research. For example, if you want to conduct a research on the practice of IPC practice, infection prevention and control practice in the hospital. So in the quantitative aspect, you ask them, are you doing this? Are you doing that? They will tell you yes or no. But in qualitative research, you can now conduct an in-depth interview to ask them, so now if you come to hospital, what do you do to protect yourself? He will start answering himself. I will do this, I will do that. When I come to this, I will do this. When I come to this. So from his explanation, you now generate the facts, what he really does. So that is qualitative, a mixed method. You mix it with the quantitative. Part of qualitative also, you can also be observing them as they are doing. They don't even know that you are observing them. So you just come to the clinic, to the consultation room, and be observing the doctors. Why are they doing this or not? So in that observation, you are not asking them. They don't even know you are observing them. So that is also another form of a qualitative research. So when you combine the observation with the questionnaire or pro forma aspect, then it is called a mixed method research. So these are the three basic types of researches that we can develop in, or we can conduct in our researches. Then what are the qualities of a good researcher? So as a researcher, there are some qualities. Sorry, please, I want to answer a call.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Dr. Mujtaba. I think he took an excuse to answer a call.
Okay. It logged me out. We are not anticipating the number, and the room got full. We are sorry for the inconveniences.
Yeah,
We
sorry.
don't expect such a large number. God willing, we'll increase the capacity before the next session. Thank you. You're welcome, sir.
Yes, sorry, we will continue, inshallah.
Thank you, sir.
So now, so let's look at ethics in research. Let's look at ethics in research. Now, a permit to conduct the study must be properly sought from authorities. So you cannot conduct any research without soughting a permission, without seeking permission from the organization concerned. So for example, if you are conducting a research in a hospital, you must seek permission, you must seek ethical permission or ethical approval from such hospital, the management of the hospital. And if it is the state government, you now seek it from the state government of that environment. So then informed consent. The informed consent is the type of consent that you now give to the participants of the study, those that say they want to, that are the study population of that research, for them to consent. And for you to give them information, you have to provide them with everything, all the information required in the research, where if there is any benefit for them, you tell them. If there is any harm, anything that you think can harm them, you have to tell them. And you have to also tell them that they have the right to leave the research, to leave the research anytime they want. So unless you do that and the person sign the informed consent, then he will be able to participate in the research. But if you didn't do that, it means you are violating the right of that person in the ethical aspect of the research. Then confidentiality, you have to assure them of their confidentiality. That is why in research, you are not allowed to take any information that will identify the participant. You have to give them ID. If you want any identification, you have to give them ID. Use their ID, not their names, not their numbers, and not anything that will be able to be used in order to identify them. Then it should be, there should not be coercion. That is, there should be voluntary participation. You cannot You cannot force anybody to participate in the research. Everything about research must be voluntary. The responses should be free from any influence. You cannot influence someone to respond to the question. In that case, you are introducing bias to the research. And once bias is being introduced, it can affect the quality and even the final information, the final information that you generate from such research. So you have to avoid influencing the participant in some questions. Then protection from harm. All the participants should be protected from harm. They should not be harmed just because they have agreed to participate in your research. There should not be any problem for them. There should not be anything that will harm them just because they agree to participate. Then the researcher must consider the potential benefits that the respondents may get from the study. And also the researcher must observe intellectual honesty in understanding such research. So now let's look at some of the useful terms that we will be used in research. You must know almost all of them, because if you don't know them, you will be having many difficulties in conducting your research. So what is variable? What are variables? You cannot conduct research without knowing variable. What is variable? Because you will be using especially in research analysis, in the development of questionnaire and other things. So a variable is a numerical value or a characteristic that can differ from individual to individual in a population or sample. So once we say a variable can be a characteristic of a person, characteristic of a place, or characteristic of a team. Person, place, or team. The characteristic in that in these three levels: characteristic of a person, characteristics of a place, characteristics of a team. They are variables. So when we say characteristic of a variable, we can say age. Age is a characteristic of a man, so age is a variable. Height is a characteristic of a man, of a woman, so it is a variable. If we say place of residence is a characteristic of a place. So you see, characteristic of anything is called variable. So this characteristic, we say it can change from individual to individual. That's why we say age. The age of this person is different from the age of another person. The height of this person is different from the height of another person. So that is why we say it is either, it can be a numeric or a characteristic. So a numeric, we say age is numeric, is in number. Then sex, either male or female, is a characteristic. So that is why we say it is either numeric or a characteristic that can change from individual to another in a given population or a given sample. So this is variable. Then observation. Observation is a value of a variable of interest that is being measured or collected. So when you have a variable and you measure that variable, so the value of that variable that you have measured is called an observation. For example, the characteristic of a person of age, we say age is a characteristic, it is a variable. So if you now measure age of someone, you say my age is 35. So this 35 is an observation. You now ask the person of his sex. So sex is a variable. So whether he is male or female. So being him a male or female, that you have measured him, he is a male. So this male is called an observation. So that is the difference between variable and observation. Then datum. What is datum? Datum is a record of single observation. So I have taken only an age of one person, which is 25. So this 25 is a datum. But data is a record of two or more observations. So when you have more than one observations, it's called data. So now maybe I have recorded the age of 10 people. So it's now become data. But if the age of only one person I have recorded, that one is called a datum. So a datum is a singular of a data. Then population. Population is the largest collection of entities in which we are interested. So now any population, the population of your interest, the largest entity of that population, that include those that you have selected and those that you have not selected, is your population. For example, you want to conduct a study among pregnant women that attend antenatal clinic in Sokoto or in UDUTH. So this type of women, all the pregnant women that attend ANC clinic in UDUTH, generally all of them, that are your study population. So, but from the population, you can now sample them. You can now sample them to take a sample, to take part of them that can represent the general population. You can also say maybe all the people with the chronic liver disease that attend MOPD in UDUTH, they are your study population. So generally, study population is the entire population that you are interested in. So in this type, we have finite population and infinite population. The finite population is the population that is less than 10,000. If your population is less than 10,000, generally, then you are dealing with finite population. For example, almost all the hospitals
Hello, sir. Oh.
I think presenter got logged out due to network. And because of the meeting capacity is 100, the waiting room will be enabled so that he will be able to join. So we will share the one name. I think that second device I'm using, I will remove it so that the participant will be able to be in the waiting room to be selectively admitted. I don't know whether that's okay, Mr. President.
Yes, you can go ahead.
Once he come up in the waiting room, he will be admitted.
to the development outcome. For example, when you say factors that lead to the development of malaria, so development of malaria is your outcome. So all the factors that you can think of, these factors may be associated with the development of malaria. They are all independent variables. They are the ones that are independent. They are the ones that causes someone to have malaria. While the malaria is the dependent variable, it depends on these causes, these independent variables. So the outcome variable is called the dependent variable, while the causative or the cause or the factors variable, the risk factors, they are all called independent variables because they are the ones that lead to the development of a dependent variable. So, okay, these ones, they are all other names for the independent variable and the dependent variables. Then measurements. Let's look at measurements. Measurement means classified or quantified observations. To measure something is to quantify it or to classify it. It's the expression of any medical phenomenon in number or categories. So when to measure something is to express something, to classify something, whether it is in number or if it is in category. For example, we say the age. Age is in number. You just measure it in terms of this one is 20, this one is 40 years, this one is 35 years, this one is 37 years, and what have you. Then in categories can be, this one is male or female. This one is Hausa by tribe, this one Igbo by tribe. So these are the categories. So all the measurement of all these variables is they are called the measurements in health. What are the uses of these measurements? They are used to provide value for magnitude or size of or extent of any phenomenon or variable. Without measurement, you cannot know the extent of a certain variable that you want to assess. So the measurement of these variables will help you in finding out or in coming up with the characteristic and the extent of this variable, so that you will be able to have a conclusion on it and then make a decision based on your conclusion. Then it aids in clinical diagnosis, because without measurements, you cannot make any diagnosis, you cannot make any conclusion. So it will help you in making a clinical diagnosis. Measurement also provide basis for comparison. If you want to compare certain characteristics from two different groups or from one group at certain levels, you have to measure. You have to measure these variables. When you measure variables, you will be able to compare these characteristics across different groups. So measurements in clinical medicine and measurements in public health. So these measurements are classified into two. We have measurements in clinical medicine and measurements in public health. So the measurement in clinical medicine, just to measure the clinical aspect of the patients and the and other clinical parameters, like medical history. In taking history, you are measuring all the variables that you want to measure from your history. Then physical examination, laboratory investigations, radiological examination, they are all measurements that you will be used in order to generate information or to find an extent of certain characteristic or a certain variable that you want to assess. Then measurement in public health include community diagnosis. You just enter a given community and you want to diagnose it. What is causing the problem in that community? You measure, you find out their maybe nutritional characteristic, you find their environmental factors, you assess their nutritional services, you assess their environmental sanitation, you assess their water quality, they assess their refuse disposal and other things, all other aspects. All these ones are all measurements in community or in public health using a community diagnosis. Calculation of indices of health, like maternal mortality rates, infant mortality rates, under 5 mortality rates, they are all calculations in public health indices, which will help you in identifying the health of these communities. Then evaluation of prophylactic programs like SMC malaria, seasonal malaria, seasonal malaria initiatives, all these prophylactic programs can be collected, can be assessed using public health measurement. Epidemiological studies that you will conduct, all the epidemiological studies that you will use in analyze or in collecting your information and conducting your researches, they are all part of measurements in public health. So when we know the measurements, what are the scales of this measurement? How do you scale? What are the level of measuring these characteristics? So there are 4 major scales of measurements. We have nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scale. When we say nominal scale is a scale that is used to measure the characteristic or the variables that are in categories. When they are in categories, even if they are in categories, they are not in order. Their categories is not in order. Like sex. Sex is just a male or female. So you use nominal scale to measure sex because it is a characteristic that doesn't run in order. It's not like a educational level that is primary, secondary, tertiary, which is in order. So, but it is a characteristic, it's a nominal scale. It is in categories, but it's not in order. Like tribe, you are either Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, or other tribe. But it is not must that you have to pass through order. It has to follow a certain order, like primary, secondary, tertiary. So it's not in that order, but it's just a characteristic. That is nominal scale. Ordinal scale is a scale that measures variables that are measured in what? In characteristics that are ordered. For example, educational level. So educational level, you see, is in order. You have to pass through primary before secondary, before tertiary in that order. Disease, level of disease severity must start with what? With mild, then moderate before it reaches to severe. So that is order. When a characteristic is in order, then it is measured by what? Ordinal scale. Then interval scale. Interval scale is the type of scale that measures variable that is collected in number, but it has a zero. It doesn't have a true 0 point. It doesn't have a true 0 point. For example, you measure temperature in number. Temperature is either 5 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees is in number, must be in number. But you cannot have when you say 0 degrees Celsius, it doesn't mean that 0 degrees Celsius doesn't mean that there is no temperature. There is still temperature at 0 degrees Celsius. So that is why, that is interval scale. It measures quantitative variables that do not have a true 0 point. A true 0 point. Their point, when you say 0 degrees Celsius, there is still temperature. Rather than saying 0 kilogram. When you say 0 kilogram, it means there is no weight at all. There is no weight at all. But saying 0 degrees Celsius, it means there is still temperature there. So interval scale is a type of scale that measures such quantitative variables. Then ratio scale. Ratio scale is the one that measures quantitative variables that have a true 0 point. They have a true 0 point. For example, weight. Weight is in number and it has a true, when you say 0 kilogram, it means there is no weight at all. Height, when you see 0 meter, it means there is no height at all, or 0 centimeter. There is no anything there. So it has a true 0 point. So these are the levels of measurement. So we have types of data. Data is divided into 2 major types. We have qualitative data and quantitative data. The qualitative data is the type of data that you measure in categories. We have explained it. You have measured it in category. It is categorized. For example, anything that has category is a qualitative data. anything that like sex, you see it has two categories, either male or female. Tribe, it has also categories. It has either Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Fulani. Then educational status, it has category, either primary, secondary, or tertiary. Blood level, blood type of blood, it has either A, either B, either O. So all these category, all these variables that are that are in categories, they are called qualitative variables. And these qualitative variables are further classified into two: nominal variables and ordinal variables. The nominal one I have explained is the one that doesn't flow any, it doesn't take any order. It is not in order. Like we said, sex is not in order. Educational status is in order, so it's called ordinal variable. So the ones that are not in order, that are in category but not in order, they are called nominal variable. While those that are in category and are in order, like educational level, like severity of disease, they are called ordinal variables. Then quantitative variables. Quantitative variables are variables that are measured in what? In number. They are measured in number. Either age is in number, 5, 6, 7. Weight is in number. Then all these variables that we are measured in number, level of vitamin A, level of vitamin B, they are all in number. PSA level, they are in number. PCV in number. So everything that you measure that is in number is called quantitative variable or quantitative data. So these quantitative data are further classified into two. We have discrete and continuous. Discrete is the data that does not take any point. It does not take a fraction. It's only assume a whole number. For example, number of children. Number of children is only either 1 or 2 or 3, like that. You don't have 2.5 children. You don't have 3.5 children. So these are discrete variables or discrete data. While continuous variables or continuous data is the data that is in number and can assume a decimal point. It can assume a fraction. For example, weight, you can have 2.5 kilograms, 3.5 kg, 3.3 kg, 3.3 meter. So it can assume what? It can assume a decimal point. That is called continuous variable. So this is the main types of variable. We say variable, quantitative and qualitative. Qualitative is also called categorical, while quantitative is tier. So qualitative is classified into nominal and ordinal, while quantitative is classified into discrete and continuous, as we explained. So now let's look at the just the brief or introduction to study designs. Study designs, a research design is a strategy for answering your research question using empirical data. So creating a research design means making decisions about your overall research objectives and approach. So for you to conduct any research, you must have a research design. A research design is the one that will help you to follow a systematic order or follow steps in conducting your research up to the level of a conclusion and making decision. So you have to have a research design for your study before you even start the study. So let's look at the general classification of research design. Research design are generally classified into two. We have descriptive and we have analytical studies. Descriptive studies are either conducted on the general population or on individuals. Those are conducted on the general population. is called correlational study. The type of study that is the descriptive study that is conducted on general population is called correlational study. So correlational study is the type of study that you conduct in order to describe a certain characteristic of a certain population maybe between one population and another, between two populations, just describe the two populations and find the difference between them. Or you describe the descriptive aspect of one population at different points in time. Maybe in 2014 and 2025, you want to compare certain descriptive parameter between the two in one of one population at between two different points in time. Or you want to describe or describe certain parameter between two populations at single point in time. Then those descriptive studies that are conducted on individuals include case report and case series. Then we have cross-sectional studies. So okay, sorry, please. I want to.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sorry for the interruption, please. So we have case series, case report and case series, and then we have cross-sectional study. So case report is a type of descriptive study that you want to just report as a single case. When you want to report, you have a case that is unusual. You just come across a single case that is unusual for you. It's not seen usually. It's just you just come across the report, the case. You can now report it using the using case report. You can report it. Then case series, when you report series of cases that are observed, maybe at different points by different people, they are observed at different time or at once, but they are unusual. You report them in series. Then this is called case series. Then cross-sectional, when you have a snapshot of, we will now discuss these study designs maybe in detail later, but today is just to brief us on them. Cross-sectional study is just a snapshot of certain characteristics that you want to assess. You just assess certain characteristics and describe it in terms of person, place, and time. That is who is affected, where is he affected, and when is he affecting these people. So this is the cross-sectional study. And then analytical study. Analytical study are conducted in order to do what? In order to assess the causes, in order to assess the causes of some problem that you have observed, or to find out the risk factors of certain problems. So these are done to assess that. And they include observational and intervention. Observational include case control studies or cohort study. And then interventional study include clinical trials. So these are the general classification. This is the general classification of study, epidemiological study designs. So I think we will stop here. Tomorrow we now continue on how to develop a proposal. Thank you very much, and we entertain questions now. and observations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the elaborate lecture. We so much appreciate, and we are sorry for the inconveniences due to limited capacity of the Zoom room. So we entertain questions and comments. One can indicate by raising hand or by writing it on the chat box. Thank you. Is any question? Any question or comment? Okay, Dr. Amechi, you can unmute and talk. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for the privilege. Please, sir, the presenter, please, I would like to get clarification on co-founders in researches. I don't understand it much.
What?
There
is side talk. I don't know. There is something.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Let me mute him.
Yes, we can hear you.
My question is co-founders in research. I would like a little bit clarification on it.
We have not done that now. We have not reached to that seed.
Okay, sir.
We will reach there. We will reach there. So
okay.
just be following us. We are going there.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the response. Any other question or comment? So in the absence of any question or comment, I would like to call on Dr. Asma Wali to give us a remark. Dr. Asma Wali is the chairperson Education and Research Committee of the Association of Resident Doctors, UDUTH Sokoto. Dr. Asma Wali, are you around?
Yes, Dr. Mushava, I'm around. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So, good morning, our resource person and all other members present. Would like to, on behalf of the ARD UDUTH, extend our appreciation to the presenter, in person of Dr. Malami Ahmad Bello, who is my senior colleague in the Department of Community Medicine. So thank you very much, sir, for this insightful lecture for today. And then for the participants, thank you for joining us, and sorry for the inconvenience that we experienced due to the limited capacity. We'll try and rectify that in the subsequent presentations, inshallah. So thank you all. Thank you, our able Vice President, for answering this session for today.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. So I think the next meeting is tomorrow, 4:30.
Yes, tomorrow 4:30, inshallah, we'll continue. So
Okay,
we're going to discuss on the proposal,
okay,
the
sir.
steps in writing proposal. I think these are the two things for this week. So today
Yes,
we dealt with the first one, and tomorrow we are going to deal with the proposal writing, inshallah.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate and Allah reward you abundantly. Thank you so much, the participants. The capacity will be increased today, and by tomorrow, inshallah, everybody will be accommodated. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate. Thank you.
So you are welcome, and thank you everyone also for the participation and for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so the continuation is by what time tomorrow?
4:30 p.m. The link will be shared and the time and date.
Hello, please. Some of us join outside of Sokoto, and we found this link incidental. I don't know how we can be getting the links for subsequent weeks. Thank you.
Yes, we have a group that audit is ARD audit research group. So you can talk to me privately. I will share the link with you so you can join.
Okay, thank you
Share
very
the
much.
materials and links there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.